What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Court is in Session podcast, hosted by yours truly, Jackson Law. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever a new episode drops. Joining me today, the Don himself, Trey Daubert. Trey, how you doing, man?
It's been a week. I'm tired. I'm ready to talk some hoops. I don't know. I'm myself crazy. I think I need to take a day off one of these days soon.
Well, you see, that's the thing, Trey, is like, can we afford to have you take
No.
a day off?
No.
What would happen for just some of the young, like the interns that run through?
It burned to the
here?
ground.
It would
The whole
burn
site
to the
would burn
ground.
to the ground.
You're absolutely right.
We can't even get the search bar going right now. So
you see, there you go.
Yeah.
So lots of problems to fix, but we move forward nonetheless. And today was the trade deadline for the NBA. And Trey, I got to say, this might be one of the most entertaining trade deadlines
Really
I've ever seen. It's definitely up there because of the weight of some of the players that were traded, and just
it felt like a normal trade deadline.
Yeah, but so we'll just hop right into it though. But it's like Kyrie, KD, and Westbrook all got traded.
I mean,
within like a 72 hours.
That's like doing the dragon. What's that one? It's like a meme where the dragon's like one dragon's tough.
Yeah.
And then the other dragon's like, that's what you just described with Westbrook.
we need to get someone in the graphics department to make that, and it's just Westbrook. KD, Kyrie, Westbrook. Yeah, but nonetheless, all three of them got traded. Huge packages, huge deals. The West got insanely tougher, although Westbrook's future is kind of up in the air. So Westbrook traded from, let me see if I can find the details of that trade real quickly.
You're gonna use the Vendetta Sports Media trade tracker, share the screen mode.
Yeah, here, 1 second. Let me get this all up. Let me close a couple of tabs here. Not that I'm hiding anything, but you know.
What would you be hiding if you were hiding something?
Advanced basketball stats, which is basically porn to guys like me. Let's see. Share screen. There we go. All right.
That's it.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at Sean Allen's nose in the corner. It looks good.
What?
Sean Allen.
Sean Allen stuff. Sean Allen. Okay, that is pretty funny. Okay, so I'm gonna try to find it.
So you got your damn ad blocker up.
No, I don't have my ad blocker up.
You have to.
No, I don't. Just stuff's not popping up.
You definitely got an ad blocker.
No, because when I hopped on the website and I went to the NBA tab. All right, here, 1 second. Let me see if it'll do it. I'm also logged in up here, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Might have something to do with it.
Because I went to sports and clicked NBA and like an ad popped up, and there was an ad on here earlier, literally right before we started.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, well, there was one where it was like, donate to help with the relief fund that for the earthquakes in Turkey. So
I don't even know about the earthquakes in Turkey.
Well, there were earthquakes in Turkey.
That's the next Vendetta company trip.
Turkey. Why we going there to help people out?
No, we're gonna fix my hair.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot implants. But anyway, I'll just hop over to this. I don't feel like trying to search for it specifically since we're talking about this one. But the details are, so it was a 3-team trade that saw the Lakers land D'Angelo Russell. He is back. Whoops, I accidentally clicked on. I forgot that was a tweet. So D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt all going to the Lakers. First of all, I know you said that you don't like D'Angelo Russell in the chat, but you have to admit, moving off of Westbrook and getting Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt, that's a W.
I agree. I said in the NBA chat, I thought the Lakers cleaned house. I mean,
yes,
I don't understand how they pulled half of this shit off.
I honestly, truly believe, because I had this conversation with a friend of mine. I honestly believe if the Lakers for whatever reason, made a huge push these last 20-something games. They go on an absolute tear, and not only jump beyond the play-in, but maybe like even grab the 6th seed.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Then there's a great Rob Pelinka has an argument to win Executive of the Year.
Oh, I don't know. Let's not go crazy.
No, because think about it. Just think about it this way: they are a sub 500 team that had no shot of making the playoffs. Makes trades at the trade
shot
deadline.
of making the playoffs.
I don't think they did. The way that it was constructed.
Had they not traded for Westbrook, they would have made the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. He finally wised up and traded away Westbrook.
I don't know. You're gonna give him a mistake for making a mistake, or giving him an award for making a mistake and cleaning up the mistake.
But here's the thing: he cleaned up the mistake like as well as you could. He filled in the hole. He dug a hole, but he somehow filled it up.
I think
and
getting
down.
Kyrie would have been a better.
I mean,
yeah,
obviously, but this is the NBA. You do need good role players. Malik Beasley is a good role player. He'll be a nice scorer off the bench, or they may start him.
I can't believe the Jazz only got one protected first-round pick. And did you see the conditions on it? If it doesn't convey, it's a 2027 second-round pick.
Wow. So, yeah, your boy Danny Ainge.
Was that?
Your boy Danny Ainge. Is this his first miss in a while?
I feel like I know Danny Ainge very well from his time as the Celtics GM. I know exactly what he was thinking. He was so desperate to get off that Mike Conley contract that he just didn't care at the end of the day. And I think it was a mistake.
I thought Mike Conley, though, I think he's a free agent at the end of this year.
No,
so
he's got one more year.
He's got one more year.
They're going to have a boatload of cap space, but who's going to Utah to make this worthwhile?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, also included in that is Mike Conley going to replace D'Angelo Russell in Minnesota. Obviously, even with as advanced and aged Mike Conley is, he's one of the smartest NBA point guards, and so is an upgrade in my opinion. He makes them
way better, I think.
Oh, I think the team is a lot better because of Mike. Which, by the way, Mike reuniting with Rudy Gobert, and for whatever reason, the Timberwolves like dealing with the Jazz.
Yeah,
because this is the second time that they've been involved in a massive trade.
I'm not sure I would have made the first one.
Oh, absolutely not. No. We
all know. The funniest thing is when I recorded that Rudy Gobert is the worst trade in sports history, all of the comments on it are like, what are you talking about? This was a great trade for the Timberwolves. You're just being a hater. All of the comments on the YouTube video say,
bro, and see, that's what's crazy is like, I think every single one of us in the NBA chat was saying, this is an awful trade. This is the worst trade ever. And if you want to know an update on the standings, the Jazz are just like, they're 2 games behind Minnesota.
Yeah, but they don't want to be that high.
The Jazz don't?
No, I think they want a top pick.
Yeah, well, I know they do, but the thing is like somehow they traded for Lauri Markkanen and he turned into an all-star. He's an all-star. Good. Like he is going to the all-star game in Utah. He doesn't have to go anywhere.
I'm convinced that Danny Ainge took the plane and watched him during the international events because apparently he was unbelievable during the international run this year. He must have watched him.
But it's insane to me that the Jazz have done that well. And so now we have to talk about the other side of this. We've talked about Conley. We talked a little bit about Russell and everything. I know. And I'll say this about Russell. I thought his trajectory when he was with Brooklyn was like a good trajectory. Like Mike Anderson unlocked him and that system in Brooklyn was amazing. But I think just who he got stuck with, and there were some good moments with Minnesota, but I think he's peaked. And it's not as good as what I thought he was going to be. It's a decent point guard.
I think he might be the single worst player that gets like 30 minutes a game in the whole league.
Westbrook gets 30 minutes.
Yeah, him, Westbrook, John Wall, all of them.
See, also, I'll say this on John Wall too, since he's going back to Houston, but he's going to get cut, or they're going to buy him out.
Did you see that video?
Yeah, where you ran over that dude?
Oh my God. What a piece of shit.
lasting impact
Seriously.
as a Clipper. Which, speaking of the Clippers,
and he apparently on his podcast he talked shit on the Rockets like 2 days before he got traded back there.
yeah, it's hilarious, hilarious. And again, I was
That's just
rooting.
karma.
I was rooting for him to start the year because I'm like, man, John Wall's had a lot of bad luck. You know, everybody was doing the John Wall.
That's the
back in
difference
day.
between me and you. I want Westbrook to get buried and John Wall to get buried. You're too nice of a guy.
Well, I mean, now that I know that John Wall's kind of washed,
Jeez.
it's like I can't do anything for him.
Well,
anymore.
it depends. If you ask our old writer Quentin, he'll say that I said that John Wall was great. So,
well, speaking of the Clippers, they are one of two teams rumored because supposedly the Jazz will not be hanging on to Westbrook, even as an expiring contract. They do not want to deal with Westbrook and think that he would be a detriment to the development of their young players.
He may help them tank, though.
He may. He may. But regardless, it is assumed that he will be bought out, and the Miami Heat, who did nothing today, might be the biggest losers.
What is wrong?
The trade deadline. The Heat and the Clippers are two teams that are rumored to be kind of like the front runners to sign him, which I think it would be kind of funny if he went to the Clippers and then both LA teams met in the playoffs. Like the NFL script writers would be in their bag with that one.
Why would they even want him, though? They just went through the whole half of the year with John Wall and Reggie Jackson doing dumb shit, preventing him from winning as many games as they could have with this core. And they're going to sign back up for the same type of guy to do the same dumb shit.
I mean, some people never learn their lesson. Some people never
when he tries to hype up the Raiders, he thinks this time's going to be different. This time's going to be different.
Man, chicks are catching a stray in here. He was actually supposed to be on here, but
tonight,
but unfortunately we could not make it work. So,
so I was choice B.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, wow. Not even the main piece. Some side.
You're like 1B because I wanted to have you on next at some point. So we just get to fast forward and we get to do it now. And also, I have to talk about this too. We'll get to some of the other big trades here in a minute. This wasn't necessarily a big trade. I wonder if it's on here somewhere. I don't know. Doesn't look like it is. Is it on here? Oh, there it is. Here it is. That's this 3-team deal right here where the Clippers get Eric Gordon.
Just wanted to talk about the Grizzlies.
I did.
Okay.
And also, you like Eric Gordon. You're a big Eric Gordon guy.
Yeah.
So Eric Gordon is headed to the Clippers and 3 Grizzlies second-round picks. Grizzlies get Luke Kennard. Rockets receive John Wall and Danny Green, who both might end up actually getting bought out of their contracts. But I definitely want to.
GM's got to be one of the dumbest people on the planet.
He's drafting an AAU team right now. He's not drafting an NBA team.
What was the point of what they did? All they did was acquire guys who aren't going to play for him.
They got a Clippers pick swap.
They're going to be worse. They're going to be worse.
Listen, the tank for Victor is real. But there's going to be a bunch of teams that get burnt from that, which this is a really good draft, but still, Victor.
They could have bought out Eric Gordon and gotten the same thing, except not dealt with this John Wall and Danny Green bullshit.
I don't know. Maybe they think maybe they'll keep Danny Green.
They couldn't
develop.
Jay Crowder got traded for 5 second-round picks. He hasn't played all year, and you're telling me that's the best the Rockets could do. Come on.
Okay, we also do need to talk about that. What was up with all the players that got traded for 5 second-round picks today?
GMs are scared to trade their first, I guess.
Because Jay Crowder, Gary Payton II. I swear there was another one. Who went to it?
Fucking Mike Muscala got traded for 2 second-round picks. I don't know what the hell was with that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Here's the other one right here. The Warriors received 5 Hawks second-round picks.
And then they gave them all away.
Well, no, they gave away Sadiq Bey. So it was James Wiseman going to the Pistons. And
but I mean, they gave all the 5 second-round picks away for Gary Payton.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So technically there were 3 trades, including 5 second-round picks, but technically 2. I don't
Some of
know.
these teams, they never make sense to me. If you wanted to keep Gary Payton, why didn't you just resign him?
Oh, Gary Payton just left. I think they offered him a contract, but he got more money going to Portland.
Like, that's the best you could have done for Wiseman. Had they
I
traded
couldn't believe that Detroit gave up Sadiq Bey.
I couldn't either.
Like, Sadiq Bey's good. I like Sadiq
Yeah.
Bey. I got Pistons friends that were very upset that they
They
traded
should be
Sadiq Bey, and they didn't like move some of their other pieces, like Bogdanovich, who like they could have gotten a decent haul
Yeah.
for him, but you get James Wiseman, and they were saying the upside is more for James Wiseman,
And they already have Duren and Bagley.
and they have Isaiah Stewart also. So it's like, what is James Wiseman? Where's he going to fit?
He might not be able to play.
Are they taking last year's Cavs approach and just like as many big men as possible, just throw them out there?
It didn't really work.
It didn't until they used one of those big men to go get Donovan Mitchell. Then it did work.
Yeah.
I think they're also I think still looking to get rid of Kevin Love. I forget Kevin Love's in the NBA. Honestly, I haven't seen that man play in forever.
I was actually a little bit nervous of the Cavs. I felt like they were like 2 trades away from like really being there in the mix.
I don't know who they would have traded away though.
Levert. But then Levert's a problem. Levert's not that good.
Yeah, but and this is what always just is like annoys me too, is like I see what like Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley went for, and I look at the Grizzlies and I was like, you couldn't beat that offer.
Yeah, I know.
Like you have first round picks to burn, and you can still have first round picks for every year after this. Or maybe you don't have one for 1 year. God forbid that you trade off the opportunity to win a championship.
God forbid you have to take another David Roddy. You know, can't let the next David Roddy go.
I do like David Roddy, but let's just get into the Grizz talk real quickly.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily disappointed with this trade deadline. It's just
Luke Kennard.
We get Luke Kennard. I would have been fine with
Mr. Basketball in Ohio, high school All-American.
Yeah, and I can't remember what his contract is, but I remember when he got signed, it was like the most outrageous contract in a while because he had done like nothing with the Pistons, and the Clippers are just like, here, take all this money. We have money to burn, just take it.
That was like a Landry Shamet 3-way trade with Sadiq Bey. That's what that was.
Yeah. And what's funny is I do have one Luke Kennard story. I got to see him live in person as a Piston. I haven't got to see him as a Clipper, but I saw him as a Piston. And this is in Memphis, and he was shooting a free throw. And I heard a Memphis fan, as he shot the free throw, yell, "I bet you listen to Dave Matthews Band," and he bricks the free throw. This is like a career 95% free throw shooter. Bricks the free throw because someone yelled at him that he listens to Dave Matthews Band.
I think you guys just needed another white guy from Duke that, you know, you missed Grayson Allen. So
yeah, you see, we like to sign guys from Duke. It's all because of Tyus Jones. He's really the one that holds it all together. Because Tyus Jones,
big fan of Tyus Jones.
Yes, he is a starting caliber point guard. Like
one of my greatest bets of all time.
Like if
you win that national title.
Oh yeah, that's why you love him. He hit that winner.
And I doubled down because I bet him to win the national title. I said they're not losing to fucking Wisconsin. They were down at halftime, and I bet again.
Well, so you're a big Tyus Jones fan.
And Jahlil Okafor. Love Jahlil Okafor.
I know. I can't. It was like the Grizzlies like a couple years ago. They had Tyus, Grayson, Justice Winslow.
You could have never talked me out of taking Karl Anthony Towns ahead of Jahlil Okafor. No shot I was doing that.
Well, at least for Cat, he's still in the league. But anyway, let me get to this. Luke Kennard is great. He's exactly what Memphis needs when it comes to 3-point shooting. He's like shooting 46, 47% over the last couple of years. The only person that's ahead of Desmond Bane in 3-point percentage is Luke Kennard. Dude's an absolute sniper from 3. And I saw a statistic today where the Grizzlies, they average like 11.6 or 0.7 3-pointers a game. So that's like 20th in the NBA. If you put even this season where Luke Kennard's usage hasn't been that great, you plug his average into the Grizzlies system, they jump up to 8th in the NBA in 3-pointers made per game, along with being a net positive defense throughout the whole year. They haven't really been since the middle of January to now, but if they can get back on that process, then this is a great trade. The problem is the names OG Anunoby and Miles Bridges, or Mikal Bridges, excuse me, not Miles Bridges.
You want
Mikal
Miles Bridges.
What?
You want Miles Bridges?
No. Mikal Bridges. Miles Bridges, I don't think he's not even in the league anymore, is he? Because
he would be he's a great woman beater.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's why he's not in the league right now. But Mikal Bridges, those two were the names that were being thrown around. Luke Kennard's great, but I would have loved one of those two guys because the West got so much tougher that, yes, we added great 3-point shooting, but we needed defense too. You need a KD stopper out there.
Do you have one?
The closest we have is Dylan Brooks.
Okay.
Jaren could probably be on KD.
I say we stop sharing the screen until we have to pull up another trade.
Yeah.
It's too tiny.
Too tiny?
We got to see Jackson Law's pretty face.
It's not the size of the screen. It's how you use it.
His purdy face. As Griff hitting on the chicks at Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But so I'm cool with the trade that Memphis made. But it's just like they're sitting on so many prospects. They have so many first-round picks. Why not cash it in? But I also see the other side because, Bridges and Anunoby, they might be available for cheaper after the season. And also apparently with KD leaving the East, the Raptors were like, well, it's open for us. So we're going to trade for Jakob Poeltl. That's a win now move, baby. We're going to win the title.
I didn't understand anything that the Raptors did. It made no sense to me. They were in 12th place. They could drop out into the lottery, get a high pick. They could have tore this thing down at least a little bit. Like if they would have traded Van Vliet, they're falling 2-3 spots.
Yeah, they are tied for 10th place. They hold the tiebreaker over Washington. And the Pacers are a game behind them.
What is the point of running that thing into the playoffs?
I don't know. And here's the thing too is the NBA is getting what it wants with teams competing for the play-in, but the Raptors are not winning the title. If they get in the 10th seed and they somehow make it into the play-in and get the 8th seed, you know what team they would have to play right now? They'd have to play the Celtics.
I actually think the play-in's horrible in the sense that the teams who are 7 and 8, they get kind of fucked. I mean, you're going into that first round series. The number 1 seeds had plenty of time to rest. It's a big deal. What happened with the Lakers and Blazers the other year in the bubble? I actually thought Portland could have put up a fight. They ran out of gas. They won game 1 and it was over.
Yep. Yeah. And no, I don't think any team from the bubble that was like a bubble team, so a 9th and 10th seed, has won a playoff series.
No. It's a huge disadvantage.
And I'm trying to think. I know the Grizzlies were one of the teams where it's they were the 9th seed and they won the first game and won the second game to make it into the play-in. But then they lost 4-1 against the Jazz.
I don't think he's factored that in. These teams, if they play 3 of the games, they're going in all banged up. The number 1 and 2 seeds have had all this rest. I would love to know the stats on the win-loss record. Not even who wins the series, just amount of games, how long it lasts. It's got to be outrageous.
I'll have to go back and look at that. That would be an interesting post idea to do, and just look at that. I'm actually gonna put that down on my phone real quick.
Okay. There you go.
One second.
I usually have good post ideas, I hope.
I mean, yeah. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're decent ideas.
They're
decent ideas. Okay. So we can talk about the KD trade now, I guess. Now that we're done talking about my Grizzlies, we can talk a bit about...
What sucks? I just keep thinking about this alternate universe where KD has one shoe size smaller.
What a universe that would be, because these trades today,
they could have won the title.
They could have won the title, and this trade does not happen today if that's the case. In fact,
and the worst part is, I think they may have won it had they not traded Harden.
Yeah.
Like that year, they were actually good when they all played. They just didn't play often.
Yeah, they played less than 20 games. It is one of the greatest failed experiments in the history of the NBA.
That's the part because it all starts there for me. Had they just called Harden's bluff and said, fuck you, you're playing the rest of the year. I don't care what we do in the offseason. We want to figure out a trade in the offseason. Fine. But the fact that they said, well, we'll just take Ben Simmons in the middle of the year. Mm-hmm. It's never made any sense. It totally closed their window, and they're paying the consequences for it today.
Yes, which is why
there was no reason to take Ben Simmons.
There wasn't.
Philly had no cap space. They had no option to sign him outright. This was the only way to acquire him, and they just caved.
Yep.
For what? All they really got is Seth Curry and what, 2 picks?
Yeah, and they've kept Seth for whatever reason. I don't know what is going on with Brooklyn.
Man. And they already had Patty Mills. Like, it's not like they really needed a guy like that either.
No,
I don't know.
But we'll talk about the KD
trade. I think that actually they did okay in the KD trade. I can't believe the Suns said to themselves, well, we can give up all of our wings, but Ayton can stay. I felt like that was their huge mistake.
Yeah, like Ayton has been.
They got rid of all of their wings. All of them.
They did. Like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, which apparently today.
And they have to include Crowder in it. They gave up all of them.
Yeah, they did. They gave up their wing depth. They gave up all their wing depth, which is supposed to be, that's kind of like the meta in the NBA right now, is wing depth.
I refuse to believe Brooklyn wouldn't have taken the trade if Ayton was in there instead. At that point, it was over.
They had to. I think they could have kept Mikal Bridges if they had done that, or at a minimum, if you're giving up Mikal Bridges, you have to keep Cam Johnson.
Yes,
you can't give up both. You either give up Ayton and Cam Johnson, or you give up Mikal and you keep Cam Johnson.
Yes, totally agree.
Because Cam Johnson is good. Like when people are like Mikal Bridges, he's not available. I'm like, okay, go get Cam. Go get Cam. He's a great backup. He's your 8th, 9th guy on a playoff rotation. Go get him.
Shooters like that, they're so valuable. You can't put a price on them.
No, and this is what's crazy.
He's basically their herder.
There's another Trey Daubert guy. He's got the Trey Daubert stamp of approval. Kevin Herter.
Yeah.
Another just random white dude out there. So KD took 4 picks. They got 4 picks in return for KD plus a
34-year-old KD.
Yes, but here's the thing: teams were offering 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges too. Like,
I don't understand the trade market.
I don't either. And I would.
Who was that guy the 76ers gave Bridges away for? He went to like Texas Tech. He had like a peanut allergy and or Zaire Smith. He was fucking horrible.
Yeah. It was Zaire Smith. That's his name.
He was fucking terrible.
Because Mikal Bridges is from Philly.
Yeah.
And he was so excited that Philly picked him because he's a Villanova guy. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm going home. Literally after that interview, he gets traded to Phoenix.
That was another one. You knew it at the time. What the fuck were they doing?
Yes. No, Mikal was
You didn't know Zaire Smith was going to be that bad, but it never made sense when they did that.
No. Zaire Smith was a Grizzly for like 10 days. 2. They signed him for training camp and then cut him afterwards. So, and freaking John Conchar is getting valuable NBA minutes. So if you can't beat out John Conchar, you don't deserve to be in the NBA.
Utah Watanabe, NBA minutes.
Hey, I love Yuta. Okay, he's shooting like 50% from 3 this year. Like if they were imploding it up, I'd be like, hey, I'll toss like 2 seconds for Yuta.
I would have rather had him instead of Muscala.
Oh, Yuta would have been great. Like, I think he's leading the league right now in like corner 3-point percentage. It's like upwards of like 60.
I would have loved to see him and Sam Hauser just jack him up.
It would have been great. But anyway, so back to the KD trade. These are here. I'll share the screen again since we actually
when we need to share the screen.
Otherwise, when we need to share the screen, we will share the screen. So the Suns send Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, who got redirected to Milwaukee, 4 first-round picks, a 2028 pick swap for KD and TJ Warren. I forgot TJ Warren was around.
Yeah, he's hurt all the time, though.
He is hurt all the time. He had one great season, and then he got hurt. But that is the deal. So now the new big 3 in Phoenix, KD, Devin Booker, CP3. What do you think? They jumped to the 3rd best odds to win the title.
Had they kept Bridges, I actually think I would have picked them to make the finals. Without Bridges, I'm really skeptical to pick them. I don't know. I feel like they have a shot. I'm not saying they're out of it. Durant, I'm never counting Durant out on anything. Yeah. I know people hate him or whatever. I've always loved Durant. I feel like you can't ever kill that guy.
Unless it's his shoe. That's the only thing. The only thing that's killed him is his shoe size. Or he was an 11 instead of 11 and a half.
When he's gotten, torn Achilles in the finals or whatever. But
yeah.
Injury and shoe on the floor, I can never count out their team.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just it's such an odd situation. I can't think off the top of my head what the rest of that Phoenix roster looks like, but they gave up
not great
so much of their depth.
Yeah.
And there's essentially no defense on that team.
Campaign's going to have to be jacking up 10 shots a game, 15 shots a game.
There's hardly any defense on that squad anymore. And so
you're waiting for Chris Paul to tear something again.
Chris Paul, I don't think is like going to do anything. He's just going to sit there and dribble for 17 seconds of the shot clock and then pass it off to either Booker or KD with 5 seconds left. And they do one move and jack up a shot.
I like Chris Paul, but he does have his, 2 or 3 hamstring injuries at the wrong time.
He's on his way out. Father Time is not being kind to him.
Well, they offered him for Kyrie.
They did. And it's like,
actually, if they would have gotten Kyrie and Durant, I think I would have picked them.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? They're just like, hey, we're going to stick together. We're just going to a different team that has Devin Booker.
They technically would have been better because their 3rd guy would have been Booker instead of Simmons.
Yeah. Gosh, I still can't believe about the Nets, man. How do you fumble? How do you fumble that big 3?
It started with Ben Simmons. The day they decided that Ben Simmons was good enough, it closed everything.
It's just,
and there was no reason to do it.
And to think, again, man, I was preaching this like last year too, when that Ben Simmons trade went down. Like how
we have to have a post on me saying that.
How better off would the Nets have been if they had just kept doing their rebuild? And how much of a cautionary tell?
It's hard to say who they would have gotten, though.
I know, but here's the thing, though, and I understand that it's a what if, but that team was on the rise. Mike Anderson, I think, is a really good coach. He's just not getting a job right now because I think he's enjoying his time in Golden State.
Kenny Atkinson?
Yeah, Kenny Atkinson.
Okay. I thought you said Mike Anderson.
Did I say Mike Anderson? I meant Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah. I could have swore you said Mike Anderson.
I probably said Mike Anderson. Now that I think about it, yeah. Kenny Atkinson is what I meant to say. Kenny Atkinson. I think he's a good coach. I thought he did accept the job for the Hornets, and then he backed out because he's like, nah, I like having no responsibility of a head coach here in Golden State.
That was the smartest thing
and winning titles. So I'm
just who the hell would want that Charlotte job?
But anyway, I thought he was doing a great job with Brooklyn. And Brooklyn was a fun team. They were a fun team to watch and to root for. They're doing their little dance on on the sideline near the bench, like when
Theo
everyone was
Pinson was all over the place.
Yeah, it was a fantastic. And also you had the playoff series against Philly when what's his face? Oh, he's like this really pudgy old NBA player. Oh, what's his name? Bald. He wore a headband. Is it Sullinger? Crap. That's gonna bother the heck out of me. I'm gonna have to look it up. But him and like Ben Simmons got into like a big feud, and they were like joshing each other and trolling each other during the series. I can't remember. Oh my gosh.
Wait, he went to Boston College. I see his face.
His last name starts with a D. I think.
I'm gonna find it for you. I know he went to Boston College. I can see his face. Hold on. He used to play for the Lakers.
Jared Dudley.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah, Jared Dudley.
Yep.
Jared Dudley and Ben Simmons had a little feud going on for that series.
Yeah.
That was a fun team to watch. But
it wouldn't have lasted long.
Yeah, I mean,
once Joe Harris started making money and you had to figure out what you wanted to do with Dinwiddie, and then D'Angelo Russell needed a max, and
yeah, but they also had a young Jared Allen who has blossomed into an amazing player.
Jared Allen was good. They should have kept him.
Yes. Which now they have Nick Claxton. Nick Claxton's very good.
And that was the other problem. They had made the Harden trade and given up Jared Allen. What in their mind said, well, fuck it. Let's go to Ben Simmons. It will never make sense to me. If you were going to give up on Harden, you had to at least get back something like Jared Allen, what you had given up.
Again, man, and it's just me speculating and spitballing here, but I don't know because they have all these pieces. They're all super young and they needed time to grow. But then they move off of all of them to go after KD and Kyrie. They're injured.
They could have won it.
I know they could have won it. But if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. They didn't win it though. So are they in a better? I guess technically, maybe they're in a better situation now because they have all these picks to rebuild. The only thing
Houston got right was taking the Nets picks for that Harden trade.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just meant just like, you're going through the rebuild and everything, and then you sacrifice your rebuild to try to jump forward and win a title. And yeah, you compete, but it's like one season that you were competing. And so then now you take a step backwards and you're rebuilding again, which we don't know what they're going to look like. They actually won tonight. We were talking about that before the show started, of how they beat a healthy Bulls team that had their stars in. And really, all they had was Spencer Dinwiddie as the new acquisition.
Would you rather have what the Nets run was, or ride out this Knicks thing? I mean, that's basically the choice they made. The Knicks made one weird playoff series that the team kind of was fun, but they never really were going to go to the title or anything like that.
Yeah, but I also don't trust the Knicks front office for anything.
They've gotten better.
They got a little better. And I will also say that Thibodeau relies too heavily on old rotational players rather than developing young players.
Right, Taj Gibson isn't on the roster still.
He's still getting NBA minutes, believe it or not, with Washington. I watched the Grizzlies game. They played Washington. Taj Gibson was starting.
Unbelievable.
The man is like 80 years old. He's been in the league since Bill Russell was a rookie.
Hey, Tibbs will keep trotting out Derrick Rose and hoping for the best.
Well, that's why Derrick Rose is the way he is because Tibbs played him 40 minutes a game in his prime, grinded his knees to dust.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we're up by double digits in the fourth quarter of like a game 2 or 3. Stay out there. And then the worst decision in NBA history ever. Give Bulls fans PTSD because of that.
Bulls are doing well. You're really killing it out there.
Killing something.
Yeah.
as far as like some other trades, we can talk about the Kyrie trade that happened a few days ago. But Kyrie had his debut with the Mavs, went really well. Mavs ended up winning the game. He played fairly well. Luka did not play. I think he might be out until I think they said they were going to reevaluate him All-Star weekend.
I was planning to watch it actually, and then I saw Luka wasn't playing. I was like, well, we're not watching this.
I watched the first half just because I wanted to see Kyrie in a Mavs uniform. It kind of fits him. Like, you know how like there's like jerseys where it's like you look at a player and it's like, yeah, he fits like the jersey.
In fairness, he could say a lot of crazy shit in Texas. Like, they got a lot of weird shit going on down there.
They do, but it's like,
have you seen Chickster?
Yeah, which I mean, he's in a city, so he probably could get away with it more. I don't know if he could get away with some of the stuff he says, like in the countryside of Texas, like, you know,
Earth is flat. He'll get away with that one.
In the city, he will. Not like out where like the cattle ranchers are, or you know, near like Amarillo or something like that. Super conservative areas of Texas. That
I think he just might have issues. He's just got problems. I don't know what's wrong with him. There's something going on in his brain that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I will say this: he has the funniest video I've ever seen of an NBA personality. This was forever ago. This was like back when he was still on the Cavs. I can't remember what it was in response to, but I saw the video today, and it's him recording himself, and he's just like, "Ha ha, man, I'm dead." And then like the next like image is like it's him just laying there like this, and it's like a picture of his family behind him, and he has a candle lit, and there's a basketball. I'll send it to you. It's the funniest like out of context video because he was like trying to make a meme or something. This was back when he was like in his early 20s. It makes me laugh every time I see it. I hadn't seen it in like 5 years. Saw it today. Would you
have done the trade if you were the Mavericks?
I mean, I only would have done it if I would have known that he's going to re-sign back, and I think that's kind of their intention is to have him do it. But there's so much baggage that comes with it that it's like there's massive hesitation. And I think if the Mavericks were going to make trades, it would have gone better. Like maybe if they would have gone after KD, or maybe if they would have gone after some other like high key role players, where whatever the package was that they had for Kyrie, you split it up 2 ways and you get 2 other solid players. And also, they wouldn't have had to go out and get a point guard if they would have just kept Jalen Brunson. If they would have offered him the small amount of money he wanted before he got good, and they're like, no, you're not good. And then he gets good, and they're like, okay, we'll try to sign you for this little bit amount of money. And he's like, no, I'm a much better player than that. And they can't come to terms, and so then he runs off to New York.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if, I'm sure the Mavericks won't do this, but I would treat him as a pure rental. I wouldn't even care. He's here for the stretch run, and then I wouldn't want any part of it. I wouldn't want to commit to him long term. That would be my problem.
Well, here's the thing: even if you commit to him long term, who's to say he's committed to you long term?
Exactly.
He's lied 3 times. He did it in Cleveland, did it in Boston. He did it last week in Brooklyn. He's like, I'm not going to abandon my boy. Oh, I want out, by the way.
I think you have to keep him motivated. The fact that he's playing for a contract right now is awesome. That's the only reason why I would have made the trade. The second the offseason comes, he's a sign and trade. See you later.
Yeah. Because like that's like the only reason why he came back and played this season.
Yeah.
Was because, well, first off, the vaccine mandate was lifted so he could play. And then he wants a bigger contract.
Brooklyn would have given him the contract that he wanted, he would have went back into the tank.
Yeah, probably. But
he deleted his apology video. I saw that.
He did delete his apology video. And what's funny too is that I saw today where it's like they traded KD to his preferred destination because way back in the offseason, like it was said that KD really wanted to go to Phoenix if he was going to get traded. And that's where KD went to. And Kyrie wanted to go to LA. And they're like, no, we're shipping you to Texas.
I wish they would have sent him to Detroit.
Oh man, Siberia.
Yeah.
NBA Siberia.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Wizards are kind of like NBA Siberia also.
Trade him to the Hornets or something.
Oh. I'm trying to think of like a worse team. They could have just sent him to the Rockets. The Rockets might be the worst franchise in the NBA right now.
Oh my god.
They
GM's
might
clueless. Totally clueless.
Like I think you can make a case that like Michael Jordan has a better vision for the Hornets than whatever's happening
100%.
in
100%.
Houston.
Their games are unwatchable.
Oh, they're bad. It's hard to watch my team play them.
I'd love to know what the passing numbers are for the Houston Rockets team.
Houston can be summarized in one video. I wish I had it on hand and I would like put it up here and show it. But they ran ISO for all 5 of their players.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like, guy dribbles it up the court, runs ISO, tries to get by his man, doesn't pass, runs ISO, can't get by his man, pass, runs ISO, can't get by his man, pass. Literally, each one of them had the ball for like 4 seconds. And then one of them just has to throw up a shot at the very end of the shot clock because they literally ran no offense.
Hard pass on anything to do with that team.
It's not looking great. And I think it would be a crime if Victor went there.
Yeah.
Because he would be wasted.
I actually like Şengün too.
I really do I like Şengün too. Yeah. I do. Who was it? Someone said, was it John Wall that said that they should run through Şengün? I can't remember who it was that said that's who Houston needs to build around.
I kind of wish he was a Celtic.
Şengün?
That was the pick. That was the pick they traded away for the Kemba Walker Al Horford trade.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Imagine Boston right now if they had kept that pick and the pick that they traded to Memphis for Desmond Bane and then drafted Bane and Şengün.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's really tough.
They've made a lot of mistakes.
But hey, you got Mike Muscala. A lot of Thunder fans were.
What a waste of time. What a waste of time. I don't understand. I just don't think these guys watch their teams. He couldn't have watched the team yesterday. I actually watched the team. I thought Luke Cornett did a pretty good job. And I'm not saying he's a starter every night, but as your third big, he's big. He can kind of shoot. He does that weird contest. He's long and rebounds. If Blake Griffin's your fourth big, who cares? I mean, what is Mike Muscala accomplishing? You're trying to win the title this year. Yeah. You come away with that.
You can run him as a stretch big. He's shooting almost 40%.
Yeah, he can kind of shoot actually, but I don't know what else he provides. I really don't.
Yeah, he's not too much of a rebounder. He's like 3 rebounds a game.
He doesn't provide anything else
this year. But I mean, in games where he has like he's very hit or miss in some of his games. So like recent games, last 5 games, dropped 16.
He's a second round pick from Bucknell that kind of turned out all right.
Yeah, like he's a solid role player. And again, like I said, like I know a lot of Thunder fans. They were upset to see him go. They didn't like this trade for Thunder because he's a vet presence for all their young guys, and I mean, like I said, he's a good role player. He's a good role player.
They can have him back.
Okay. Well,
like Naz Reid would have been awesome.
Naz Reid would have been
somebody that has some fucking hair in their ass to do something.
What was it that we shared in the chat? Wasn't it like he only wants like 12 million
10 million a year.
10 million a year? That is such a steal.
Yeah.
Trade him and then lock him up for like 4 years.
That's what I would have did.
Like, here's 4 years.
Hachimama's going for 3 second rounders. You're telling me you couldn't do that same thing? Or 5 second rounders, 4 second, whatever the second rounders, that's what the hot commodity was. So
wait, yeah, they were trading those away like crazy.
I refuse to believe they couldn't have pulled that off.
Yeah. Well, real quickly to kind of close up the show, we'll talk about another one of your dudes, Jay Crowder. How do you think he's going to fit in with the Bucks?
I do have one topic before we close out the show.
Okay.
I thought 5 second rounders was maybe a little aggressive. But I don't think the Bucks care.
No,
I think he's perfect for the Bucks.
If you're competing to win a title and you have literally every piece like the Bucks do, second rounders, whatever, and they've wanted Jay Crowder all season. They have been working desperately with the Suns to figure out a trade for Jay Crowder, and he's
basically that Marjan Beauchamp's vet presence.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, kid.
Hey, he's a dog too. Like,
yeah,
it does not matter whatever team he's on. He's going to war with every single dude that's wearing that jersey. Like, one dude crosses Giannis wrong, it's the end of that other man's life.
Yeah, you need guys like that.
Oh, I wanted him back on Memphis. I'm being 100% honest. I wanted him back on Memphis for a playoff run, because that's a dude that you need, because like
he was third in the NBA in plus minus that year the Suns went to the finals. It's my favorite stat of all time.
Okay, so what was your topic you wanted to close the show with?
I mean, I don't think anybody bombed the NBA trade deadline worse than the Denver Nuggets. What the hell was going on there?
The Heat.
Well, they just didn't do anything.
Yeah, so that's a big L. They needed to do something. They ran it back with a team that didn't win it last year and is aging, and they have a lot of holes.
I just don't understand how Pat Riley could watch that team every single night.
Did you see the report? I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't fact check it, but apparently he fell asleep, like literally.
How could he not?
Like he was resting and taking a nap, and they couldn't like get a hold of him.
They're horrible. They can't score the basketball at all, and they're basically winning games by the skin of their teeth because Eric Spoelstra's out scheming guys.
Yeah, I feel bad for Matt, for the Diamond. That's his team, and I see him going through it on Twitter every night.
If their coach was Bernie Bickerstaff instead of Spoelstra, they'd be where Toronto is. Maybe even worse.
They'd be where Houston is. Eric Spoelstra just somehow finds a way.
Yeah, they're not good. They can't score.
No, they can't. So let's talk about Denver. So for the Bones Highland trade,
horrible.
Not a great trade. I understand why.
Not a great trade. They got the same return as Muscala.
Yeah, and listen, Bones Highland had fallen out of the rotation anyway.
So what?
I know. I'm saying that's why they got rid of him. I'm not agreeing with the package that they got. They should have got something extra for him.
That's an understatement. He was on the NBA All Rookie team.
Yeah.
They got 2 second-round picks with 2 years of control before you even had to pay him.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not defending the return. I understand.
Bad.
I understand why they were looking to trade him. The return was bad.
Horrible. They got Thomas Bryant, who the Lakers got for nothing. He was on a veteran minimum contract. It was between the Celtics and the Lakers of Thomas Bryant saying, who do I want to go to? Because he was only signing for the vet minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nuggets gave up more for him than they got back for a guy that made the all-rookie team. It doesn't make any sense.
I think I like the addition of Thomas Bryant, but again, it's just the package. It's the package. So I'm not going to call them as big as losers as you have.
I think they're total losers. I think after the deadline they have a 0% chance to make the finals. 0.
I don't think it's 0.
0.
I don't think it's 0.
That team's going nowhere.
They have Luka. Jamal Murray's getting back into form. Not Luka.
They don't got Luka.
Jokic. I'm having massive brain damage tonight.
Jokic is great. And I think Murray's a fine number 2 or 3. But there's no way anyone's going to convince me that Michael Porter Jr. is enough to be the third guy on a team that's going to the finals. I hate that guy. I can't stand him. There are just so many times where he just lacks self-awareness. Like Jokic will make a great pass and moving the ball around, and then he'll just take a shot, and you're sitting there like, what are you doing?
It's really funny. So I know MPJ got pretty hot, and he's dealt with injuries again.
He's hurt all the time.
Yeah. But it was like his first season back. I got to go see him play because I got a good friend that is a Nuggets fan, and another one of our friends came with us. It, honest to God, looked like that man had never played basketball before in his life. Now, obviously, he got better, but when I tell you, it's like he looked like my 3-year-old son out there playing basketball.
He jacks up shit, and you're sitting there like, why? What were you thinking? Constantly, he does this.
But hey, this is the guy that in the bubble was being compared to KD. He's the next KD.
No.
But I really do like the Nuggets. I think they make it to the Western Conference Finals, and depending on who makes it there, I think they got a great chance.
See, you're drinking the Nuggets Kool-Aid. I think the West got way better.
The West did get way better.
Way better.
The problem is
they got worse.
The problem is though is that there's still a good defensive team. And the teams that got better, great offensively. It's defensively.
You got to score the basketball.
I know you have to score the basketball, but the problem is you also have to stop the other team from scoring the basketball.
Sometimes. You just got to stop them at the right time.
And that's what good defensive teams
do. Are like 110, 115, 120 all the time now. You can't stop anybody. You just got to kind of stop them.
Yeah, but that's what the Nuggets do. They stop people towards the end of games.
I think they're living off some home court cooking. That Denver place is tough to play in. Jokic is playing out of his mind, but push come to shove, that team's not good enough anymore.
Well, I guess only time will tell. There's only like 20-something games left.
I think Sacramento might be better than them.
I'm not going to go that far.
I think it's a real toss-up between them and Sacramento.
I think the biggest failure is that I wish for the Nuggets they would have gotten a player in return for Bones Highland because their bench is bad. Now it helps that they got.
They gave them to the Clippers. They gave them to the Clippers, a team that they could very well play.
Yeah,
there's a real chance that's their.
That's how it is in the West. Is like, it's always curious to me why West teams are trading with each other, because there is a chance that you're going to see them again very soon. And they could knock you out of the playoffs.
He hits a game-winning shot against them.
Like,
that's the other thing. They didn't just get a bad return. They gave him to a team that they might play.
Again, the script writers would be in their bag if that were the case. So Trey very down on the Nuggets. I still like the Nuggets. I guess we'll just see.
I don't know if they're better than the Clippers anymore. I'm not sure they're better than the Lakers.
No, they are. I will come out and say that. Yes, they are better.
Are they better than Golden State? That might be the first round matchup.
Depends on Steph's health. Listen, Golden State's another one of those teams you can never count out.
Right.
Like, so that one's hard.
We're going to go into the playoffs, and Denver's going to be a team, and things are going to get a little hairy, and they're going to sit there and say, why don't we have that one or two extra guys that would have made sure we got it done?
Again, I think their system they have in place is good.
Jokic is a system. They don't have a system. It's just one tall, fat, white guy who's
they do. And this was a conversation again I had with some of my NBA buddies, is that they need to look at the 2014 San Antonio Spurs and the system that they ran with 3 aging stars and a not yet blossomed Kawhi. Somehow beat one of the greatest teams ever in the history of the NBA in the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals.
Because LeBron's a crybaby.
Well, yeah, but like, also that was like one of the best teams. That was the big 3. That was the team. And 3 aging stars on their way out of the NBA. Ginobili had already completely bald by this point. He wasn't balding like he was already bald.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Duncan literally could do nothing else but just play fundamental basketball. Yeah. Tony Parker was their leading scorer at like 14.5 points a game.
Who was the big tall center they had? I can't think of his name.
I can't either. Boris Diaw was also on that team. That's like another dude that pops up. But like, he was the role player for them, the big role player.
What the hell was that center's name? I can't think of it.
I can't think of it either. I know they would know off the top of their heads, but Trey, you got anything else to add about trade deadline? Anything else that stuck out to you?
I'm kind of pissed that the 76ers don't have Thibault anymore. That
Why?
part sucks. He's awesome to watch. I in terms of rooting against. Like,
oh yeah,
I love when the 76ers have him.
See, it's so odd to me because he's a 2-time All NBA defense.
I think he's worthless. I wouldn't even want him.
It's so odd because it's like if he could just like make like a few shots a game, he'd be valuable. And 2 years ago, according to 76ers fans, he was the greatest defender in the NBA, best defender in the NBA.
I'm a little upset they got rid of him.
Yeah, they got Jalen McDaniels.
This is my Western Conference power rankings.
Okay.
Phoenix, Memphis, Dallas, LA Clippers, Golden State Warriors, LA Lakers, Denver Nuggets, Sacramento Kings.
That's borderline disrespectful.
That's how I feel about the Nuggets right now.
Sheesh. Okay. Well, you heard it here, folks. Put it down in the comments what you think about Trey's feelings about the Nuggets. Maybe you should do a post on it. Maybe you should do a video on.
You're gonna have to.
You're gonna have to. If you feel this strongly about it, you're gonna have to.
0% chance they're going to the finals. None.
All right. That's the title. The Nuggets have a 0% chance of going to the finals.
Yeah.
The Denver Nuggets have a 0% chance going to the finals. Look for it here on the Vendetta Sports Media YouTube channel, and you'll know when it drops if you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever that video drops. But anyway, we're closing in. We're over an hour here. We're way over. I like to go for. Shout out the Vegas Golden Knights. They absolutely annihilated. Who they play tonight? It was the Wild. Minnesota Wild. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely decimated.
2-0 since the Beads.
Yeah, the beads. He's got the beads. You don't want to know how he got those. He got those from New Orleans. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I wasn't there, though.
But anyway, everyone, thank you again so much for watching. My name is Jackson Law. This is Trey Daubert. Again, thank you for listening to this episode of the Quarters in Session podcast. See y'all next time.